Welcome back to the APSCC 2021 webinar series. I'm Christopher Slaughter, your MC for the series. Today, we return to our innovation showcase for the second of our innovation showcases, where we bring to you companies that you may or may not have heard from or may have heard of, or whatever you're probably not terribly familiar with. So that's part of the reason why we're presenting them today. Today's Innovation Showcase is brought to you by the Korean Radio Research Agency, which has brought together 3 different companies from South Korea, all of whom are doing interesting things. First up is a company called Contech, which is born from the Korean Aerospace Research Institute, which is now a commercial operation. And joining us to tell us more about what Contech is up to is Hwan-Young Kim, who will give us a quick overview of their activities, please.
Hello, everyone. This is Kim from Contech. Thank you very much for having me today. In this session, I'll give a short introduction of our company and our services, from satellite data transmission and reception with ground stations to satellite data preprocessing and application. At the end, I'll also disclose some of our future plans to expand the service area. Let me give a brief overview about our company. Contech is a spin-off from Korean Aerospace Research Institute, in short, KARI. We were established in 2015, and our headquarters is located within the KARI premise, and we have another office nearby. So far, there are 57 members in the team, including the ones in Luxembourg subsidiary, which was founded in 2019 for overseas marketing. In the same year, we finished the construction of our ground station in Jeju Island in South Korea, and it went into a commercial operation since the beginning of last year. And this year, we are planning to construct more ground stations over the world, and we'll expand our services to satellite image pre-processing and application. And all the related technologies are developed, and it's only about to be officially launched as a web-based subscription service. And what makes us special is that we provide all services that are required downstream. We divide our services into 3 levels. The first one is ground station service. So basically, we work for satellite and launch vehicle operators. When they request us to communicate with their spacecraft to receive the data from, and to transmit orders and to check their health and status, we schedule the passes with an available ground station, and the customers can freely download the data they have requested. All our software and hardware related to ground station construction and operation are developed by our teams. And we may also offer antenna hosting for customers' antennas in our site. As a next step, we can go into the service level 2, which is to pre-process the received satellite image data to provide the customers a final level product. Using the CalVol technologies, we do radiation correction, geometric correction to remove the noise and correct distortions of satellite imageries. For the final step, the processed satellite image may be used for different application services for various industries using AI algorithms. Some specific services we've developed, especially for monitoring smart cities, are city change monitoring, illegal building detection, and parking occupancy rate assessment. These services can be offered all together as a package or independently based on what customers want. I'll go into more details on each service. So first, we have the satellite reception and transmission service. I've attached a short video for a better understanding of our business. Just a second. So here is our ground station in South Korea. And every time a satellite passes over our ground station, it can communicate and bring down the collected data. This contact time is what we call passes. And our services is priced per pass, which may be different by types of the satellites. Our Jeju site is actively servicing customer satellites, and we'll build more ground stations which are ideal for satellite communication to meet the increasing demand. So the number of satellites to be launched is expected to quadruple in the next few years, and most of them would be operated by private entities, which means ground infrastructures to communicate with satellites would be more important than ever in the history. And in fact, even before we officially began the ground station service, we've got a lot of inquiries from international satellite operators. So let me go back to the presentation. Yeah. This is our ground station network expansion plan displayed in a word map. And with the main station in Jeju, we'll have one more station in Korea and few more in each continent. Until 2022, we'll operate 9 ground stations in disappointed areas, and ultimately we plan to have 12 stations until 2024. All these locations are specifically chosen with geographic and environmental conditions that will cause least interruption for signal reception between satellites and antennas. And of course, in business point of view, the cost, nearby infrastructure, and the space ecosystem were all taken into consideration. Here you can see the exact locations where we plan to install our next antennas. With all these sites, we'll be able to support every satellite in different orbits using SNX band and K-band to be deployed in the near future. On the right, you can see our antennas in Jeju site. The right picture shows our 4.2-meter dish antenna with radome, which supports SNX band. And the left one, our LP antenna, uses UHF and VHF to support CubeSat missions. One of the key points of our service is that it is provided on a web-based platform, Contact One. And Contact One interface is very easy to use and connects all of our ground stations in one single platform. Customers will get an account and register satellites on My Page tab, and then they can reserve passes with 2 simple clicks. First, they have to select a wished schedule, then click the request button, and the request will be accepted shortly by the system. And the fixed schedule will appear on the screen. And 24/7 customer support is available with the live chat function. I'll summarize the unique selling points of Context ground station service that were mentioned. First of all, the strongest point of us is our uniqueness. We're the first and one of the very few commercial ground station service providers in Eastern Asia. We constructed our ground station in Korea solely for commercial purposes, and it gave us a strong geographic advantage within the continent. As for convenience, customers have an access to Contact One interface where they can reserve and cancel the passes on their own. And this service is offered at a half rate compared to that of our competitors, thanks to the in-house construction and maintenance of ground stations. So to further expand our business area, we managed to develop technologies to make use of the received satellite data, and now it's being commercialized. Once we receive the satellite image data, we may apply pre-processing algorithms to remove the noise and correct spatial distortions and generate a final level imagery. The service level 3 is the satellite image application, which is to utilize satellite images to create value-added products that can be used for different industries. So we currently provide these services to smart cities, and we are the first in Korea to develop such services specialized for city monitoring. We had R&D projects with CARI to develop satellite image high-speed processing system and satellite image calibration software based on the specs of ComSat and CAS 500 satellites. Based on such experience, the calculable technology and the quality of the data are expected to be improved, and the improvement will be applied to the ComSat 7 and CAS 500 satellites. Using satellite imageries, we created a web-based satellite application service dedicated to urban problem solutions. It will be available over a platform named Contact Insights, and customers may enjoy the service based on subscription. From this year, we started to service a city named Sejong in South Korea, which is the first ISO-certified smart city in the world. Services include city change monitoring, illegal building detection, parking occupancy rate analysis, and more. And all these are available by using AI algorithms to monitor within an area of interest. Such observations using satellites are extremely efficient, especially in this pandemic, as physical movement is limited. So for instance, without being present, you may find out the areas where many cars are illegally parked in roads. Then you can decide to place tougher crackdowns or build more parking lots. And the same goes for illegal buildings. And this is not only helpful for local governments, but also brings a lot of benefits to commercial sites, especially to real estate. So by comparing the number of buildings over the time, they can identify the most developed areas. And here is a demo where you can see how this service works. The below link will lead you to Contact Insight website, and you can select satellite imageries in 2 different time periods and apply change detection and object detection to analyze the changes at a glance. And it finally gives an analysis for the result to acquire necessary statistics. So I've more or less explained all of our services and our current status. The past few years of Contact were indeed very busy and fruitful, and especially since 2020, our revenue doubled that of last year with the beginning of the operation of our ground station. And in 2021, we completed the Series B funding round with a total investment of $11 million to develop our services. We're now in the stage 2, where we have officially started our commercial services. And in the third phase, we will work to achieve our ultimate goal, which is to provide a total solution for satellite missions. So from the launch, ground support, and finally to the data application. We'll first expand our ground station network and develop some new technologies, including optical communication for an efficient downlink from satellites to ground antennas. We also plan to launch our own small Earth observation satellites in late 2023 or 2024 for direct data production. And finally, we aim to construct a commercial satellite launch pad in Korea. And from this facility, we plan to make a space cluster with local government. So in the next 5 years, we expect the domestic and Asian space market will foster as much as in the States and Europe. And hopefully what Contact does will contribute to Korean and the world space industry. And thank you very much for your attention. Hopefully it was a valuable time and you've got an idea on what Contact is doing. If you have further questions, please feel free to write us to the below email address. Thank you.
Kim Hwan-young from Contact, thank you very much for that, Hwan-young. Really appreciate your introduction to Contact. Joining us now from Nara Space, another startup from Korea, is Park Jae-pil, who will be telling us about the Nara Space activities. Thank you very much. Take it away, please, Mr. Park.
Hello, I'm Jae-pil Park, the CEO of Nara Space Technology, and thank you for inviting us to ASEAN Pacific Satellite Communication Council. Nara Space Technology is a South Korean nanosatellite company, which was founded in 2015. Last year, we finished the first pre-A series fundraising successfully. There are 26 members with us now, and we participated in 13 nanosatellite projects as a subsystem and system and mission developers. We mainly serve 2 major areas, and one is the small satellite manufacturing for under 50 kilogram, and mission analysis for constellation and formation flying. And the other one is satellite big data image analysis and related value-added service. I think this picture presents our vision well. We want to be the Earth big data mining company with satellite constellation. Satellite data has big difference between airborne data. The first one is the coverage of satellite data is much bigger than airborne image. And the second one is satellite data has no problem to cross the borderline. And the last one is a satellite system is almost a fully autonomous system. These reasons are why the satellite data is important now and future also. Satellite is a tool for mining Earth data, but current satellite system is not enough to provide Earth data as a big data. It cannot help to drive to decision making for stakeholders. This map is the map of current satellite system by European Space Agency, and we need new satellite system which has high spatial resolution and temporal resolution simultaneously. So the trend of satellite industry fixed the ground sample distance at around 1 meter and reduce their satellite size for consisting for satellite constellation. We follow this trend also, and our goal is to serve the most effective satellite in the world. Basically, we follow the new space development philosophy. Our goal is not just to develop small satellite. We pursue the satellite which can be applied in mass manufacturing and mass launch system. In that process, we commonly use commercial off-the-shelf parts and PIPA launch system also. This is the standard avionics of our satellite, and it contains expanded transmitter and mass image processing board for mass image data service. It also contains two 77 battery packs for stable power supply. And the satellite bus has four unit size. One unit size is 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter cubic, and it consists standard avionics I have seen before, and AOCS box for navigation and attitude control. And the hollow region, one new space is for harnessing and other minor parts structures. The satellite box, the standard box can support the 16U and 12U and 6U form factor. We can support not only image-based mission, but also communication constellation like space internet or free space optics communication mission. Now we're developing the practical mission about each form factor. I want to introduce one by one. This picture is about Observer 1. Observer 1 is the first commercial mission for image constellation of our company. And the mission objective to obtain 1 meter level resolution image with 16 new form factor. And this is the exterior of Observer 1 satellite. The left image is total size 20 centimeter, and by 40 centimeter. And the right image is the deployment image of solar panel and X and S band antenna. The interior is electrical optic camera and bus parts. You can see the left left side picture, and it added redundant communication system for stable communication. It loaded two fully separated S-band system. And the payload of Observer 1 has 7 multispectral bands for observation. Those spectral information will be used environment and vegetation and agriculture monitoring. The next mission is what is progressing Busan set. It is the first local space mission in Korea, and the mission objective is to observe fine dust and superthin cloud for meteorology. The form factor of Busan set is 12U, and the payload is a polarization camera. And polarization camera is modified version of NASA and CASI's lunar polarization camera for searching lunar crater. But both part is the same with Observer 1. And the last one is a 60 form factor satellite, and 60 form factor satellite can be used vegetation and agriculture section. And it can operate multispectral wide field of view angle camera and X-band transmitter also. Now we are in mega constellation era, so productivity is the most important factor in space industry. So we are especially focused on this how to enhance this productivity. The first thing is we using cuts is important, and using cuts is important to mass production, and it can save each satellite price. And this picture is about the screening process of commercial optoset parts. Each parts are exposed to gamma ray, which cannot stand anymore. And we check the limitation of each part and calculate total mission lifetime of our satellite and standard model. Ground support equipment is also important part to mass production. And this is the board test system. You can see the left, and you can see the first image. That is the board test system, and you can see the interfaces for monitoring condition of each part subsystem. We have two manufacturing facilities in Busan headquarters and Seoul Center. And the Seoul Center for subsystem development and Busan has a big clean room for assembly, integration, and test process and mass manufacturing. Now we are in the first phase. We can manufacture the same specification satellite with Observer 1 in 1.5 years. And after the space demonstration, which we planned, and the design and the environment test process can be saved. So one satellite can be manufactured in 2 months by one team in the phase 2. Our final goal is of our company is to serve 1 meter resolution for $1 million in a day. This is our space program for subsystem, system, and service level. The rocket marks are represent the spacecraft mission, and the end of 2022, the first 12U satellite will be shipped, and at the Q2 of 2023, the first observation 1 validation mission will be launched. Yes, this is end of my presentation, and thank you for your attention. And please feel free to contact us if you're interested in our company and service. Thank you.
Interesting there. Thank you very much for that, Park Jae-pil. from Nara Space. We look forward to much more interesting developments from Nara Space going forward. Last but not least is a company that you may have heard of from or may have heard of is Intellia, which is probably the most established of the companies that we're presenting to you today. Joining us now, John Harrison, Chen Yu Tang, and Fadzil Osman from Intellia to tell us more about hybrid satellite coexistence. Looking forward to that presentation.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Intellia webinar. It's our great pleasure, myself and my close colleagues, and to provide you a latest update of our company, where we are, what we do, and what we can further help you in this IoT and a smart shipping era. First of all, let me just give a brief introduction of myself and the colleague with me supporting this seminar. My name is Chen Yu Tang. I'm in charge of APAC region for Intelligent Technology. Along with me is my peer and a close colleague in Europe, Mr. John Harrison. And he's the VP and a general manager for EMEA region, as well as a long-time Intellian family member and uncontested industrial veteran in SATCOM. Together with us is our young and a dynamic sales director for APAC, Mr. Fadzil Osman. He's also our IoT solution manager for partners and customers. So before we start to give you an overview of our company, I just wanted to share something up close and personal during the past 12 to 15 months. And in this unprecedented pandemic situation with the extended lockdown and the reduced face-to-face activities for our business transactions, it actually enhanced the total necessity of uninterrupted connectivity for our data transmission from vessel to vessel, vessel to shore, as well as to ensure the uncompromised reliability of the data integrity and data transmissions, to ensure the business continuity, as well as operation insurance, and also to ensure the seafarers' well-being. So today, we're going to give you a very brief overview, and hopefully we get some interactions together with you to see what we can do further to enable in ubiquitously, multi-constellation environment, to enable your operations to be more reliable, more efficient, and ready for the smart shipping era to come. So very briefly, allow me to give you, started with a company introductions, who we are and where we at. Next slide, please. As a VSAT and the maritime SATCOM equipment provider, we take in our core missions and also our vision to enable and empower the connectivity. And throughout a very simplified platform to enable the satellite communications with our new products and ubiquitous access platform to allow the remote access as well as advanced diagnostics to ensure the shipping as well as the communication continuity. The next slide will give you a snapshot of where we are today. By far, we are the #1 maritime VSAT market holder in the industry, and according to the recent market research, it's even suggested that our market share is beyond 57% in the premium VSAT hardware market. We are also considered as a top innovator in the technology advancement and a pioneer in a new product and a solution development. Across our more than 10 locations in the world, across the 5 continents, we serve more than 600 customers and partners seamlessly. Last but not least, as a listed company in the stock market, we do have a strong sense of social responsibility to ensure the maritime communication safety, as well as the business continuity, to ensure our seafarers' well-being in maritime sustaining development. So our next slide would give you a geographic, holistic picture of our presence. What I try to say in this slide is beyond our presence in Asia, Europe, and the US, Americas, in this unprecedented crisis mode of the pandemic expansion, we decide, instead of holding conservative operation spending, we decided to push the envelope and to invest for our future, to invest in the revamping innovation capabilities. We established a new R&D center, innovation center in Asia, in our headquarters in South Korea, and also revamping our technology excellence center across UK and also East Coast, the US, and expanding our global geographic presence for our logistics to improve our agility and efficiency to serve you better in the upcoming business pickup. So my next slides will give you an overview about different market segments and also different customer groups that we serve in maritime industry, from commercial shipping, cruise, energy, fishing, to government and also leisure. We serve a variety of the customer bases with our service providers and diverse satellite operators. So I'm going to invite John to comment on this slide. Not only he knows the insights of the entire customer group, but also he lived it, the tremendous transitions and the journey with Intellia in the different iterations of our business growth. John, the floor is yours.
Thank you. As always, a pleasure to be here to support you guys. As Cheng Yu alluded to, I'm a long-serving veteran for Intellia, and I've obviously seen the tremendous and exciting growth that we've had from the very early years. Our passion, our drive, our objectives have never changed. They've always been how do we overcome the problems in the industry and make our customers' lives better. That is very, very near and dear to us. And I think, Cheng Yu, it's a good point to mention that there is definitely challenges for the ship owner. I think more than ever, to be honest with you. And I try to categorize them into two distinct areas, two distinct buckets, if you will. I think one, there's some really great energy and excitement in the market about what I personally call new space and old space. I think there is some incredible new satellite technology coming to market. I think there's also huge investment into existing technology. So it's giving the customer a lot more choice. And of course, organically, a far, far better service, quality of service. And things are really exciting there. I mean, let's make that sweeping statement, to be fair. But obviously, there's a lot of choice there. And there's new terminology, new words being bashed around the industry. And we hear, of course, GEO and NGSO, etc. And obviously, which way do you go? Because customers at some point have to start making a decision. So about 4 to 5 years ago, when we actually started to see this happening, living by the spirit that we have to make the customers' lives better and as simple as possible, we looked at how we can create our next product line to make things as simple as possible. And that's really what our NX product line stands for. It was created, in some cases, I'm sure that some of our team had a crystal ball because what we predicted has actually mapped out pretty well in line with our plan. So we really want to make sure that the ship owner or the customer can go left, can go right, can make those decisions without the necessity to change hardware. And that's what NX stands for. Our NX platform allows the customers to operate as they want to now, leverage all of the great enhancements on those networks. But when the time comes and they want to venture off in a different way or leverage the new networks, they can. So that was really important to us. Our second observation, which actually was pre-COVID, was we saw that there was an inherent issue in terms of getting very, very skilled technical personnel to the vessels. And as things get modernized and you have all these converging technologies, etc., we have to leverage that. So historically, a VSAT terminal took 2 days to build. It was clumsy to get there. It was complicated. And in the spirit of making sure that we take that those problem parts of the equation away, that was the other part of NX. That was further bolstered by what we saw during this awful pandemic. In fact, we couldn't get engineers on board. We still can't, to be honest with you. And I think that's a habit that's going to happen. So the second part of what we stand for in terms of our product development is, I would say, commoditization. Is how do we get a product on board very swift, very slick, very, very easy, as plug and play as possible, that can be in effect commissioned by the ship's crew or a non-skilled personnel. So again, we're taking a lot of pain away. So again, to kind of, not to labor the point too much, 2 buckets: future-proofness, keep it simple, you have choice with the product, and 2, because of the changes we've seen, which I think will carry on forward after the pandemic, the customers don't want to see people on board. It has all kinds of complications. So if we can have a product that is plug and play, technically could be serviced remotely, which NX can, I think that really addresses some of those confusing points for the ship owner. Furthermore, looking at the slide in particular, at least 30 of the top ship owners choose Intellian, predominantly NX, for those 2 reasons, to be fair. So that's it in a nutshell.
All right. Thank you very much, John. Very well said. And I think, one thing I like to echo in the post-pandemic situations, the drive for the simplicity and drive for the remote accessibility to enable the IoT solutions and also operation efficiency drive will be critical for both customers and also service provider to drive the smart shipping initiative to the next level.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit more.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit more about this in our free panel, presentation. But I think also, in the next 10 to 25 minutes with Fazil's presentations, we can really go through some of the details and the beauties, how our future-proof platform, as well as the ubiquitous access and remote access and open API can enable the possibilities of IoT solutions. Not last but not least, I want to close my introductions with these slides. Not to unveil the picture of our new R&D centers, but also to picture who we are, what we stand for in our DNA. We have the passions, and it's anchored in our DNA, the drive and the love for innovations. And this is also not only our core competency in differentiator in the market, but I think we know as the maritime business will come back with a surge of the maritime customers requiring for new technology and also continuity from the current technology they invested, and the migration to the new technology will be primordial to ensure the future-proof readiness for the convergence of IoT and also SATCOM industry. And from the picture, that what we want to show you is within the last 12 to 15 months, when everyone is go conservative, we decided to push the envelope, go bold, and build our new R&D centers in Seoul and to revamp our new technology development. Not only that, what is not a picture is also we are expanding our excellence centers in John's EMEA region, in London, for a technical excellence center, as well as in East Coast US. Not only that, we understand the global agility of our logistics is also one of the key competitiveness to our customer to serve the end user much better. So we are revamping our presence in Rotterdam as well as in Singapore to get ourselves ready for the hockey stick ride with you, dear customers, in the surge towards the smart shipping. John, you do have any insights to share about how we improve our agilities out of Europe as a global players?
Yeah, I mean, just a couple of comments, and before we go to Europe, just one quick comment about the top slide there, which I think is just a fabulous picture. Let's be honest with you. But to explain it a bit deeper, the brown building there is the innovation center, and that was really, it's quite a famous picture, to be fair, certainly in our world. And I kind of grew up in that building. And actually, we saw some amazing technological advances coming out of that building. So my only comment there is just imagine what we can do with the new building as well. So really excited to see that. And obviously really excited to visit it because I haven't been there yet. And in terms of the investment into Rotterdam, absolutely, we decided to grow roots there. Historically, we were always renting large facilities. We decided to have a custom built self-owned facility. So we found some land. We did a really, really cool design. It's a center of excellence to serve Europe, a huge logistical center. It's got a solution center there so our customers can come along. It really is a gem. And I think that is going to bring even bigger operational excellence to not just to our partners in Europe, but globally. Yeah, so really excited about both.
Awesome. So what I suggest is let Fazil to go through some of our product and technology specifics to unveil, the NX platform as well as our Aptus management platform. What we can do to enable your smart shipping applications. Fazil.
All right, thank you, John. All right, I'm the new kids on the block. So it reminds me of my past experience being in this industry. Being an engineer itself, I like to enhance the difficulties and challenges for the engineers and also end user facing is the time to commission the system. It took almost days because we said it's too complicated. You need to have experienced engineers to perform the installations. But I will explain on my next few slides in regards to what is NX and Aptus NX, and also the life cycle of VSAT to complement the new Intellia NX services that we provide today. So this is very critical, and I'll never be proud enough to be part of this team to understand the end user perspective, working with them for almost 10 years, addressing the problems. But today, with Intellia, we provide actually the answer towards that challenges. So on the next slide. All right, there are too many features of NX series, but I will break down into 5 core values of NX series. So the first one is the future-proof system. It's a system that able to convert KU band to KA band, and also to support the new satellite constellations, which is from GEO, MEO to LEO. All right. So these are important to invest on a system, to ensure that you do not need to decom, to support the next constellations. Secondly, is a new standard of new industry standard of communications. We provide high performance in terms of gain and margin, and customers have the options and access to higher bandwidth without a need to decom. So we obviously in the market there are few brands. You can name it. Some of the VSAT only specifically work within that network or within specifically company. So there is no possibilities for you to migrate to new satellite or even you need to replace. These are the costs. So with our highest performance, we provide the options for customers to upgrade and with various options and easier path for you to migrate. So the third point is very critical for me, which I mentioned is simplified installation. All right, we have what I mean by simplified installation. It provides installation wizard for non-experienced engineers. As I mentioned by John earlier, the restrictions for engineers to go on board, so we rely so much on officers and crew to assist us. But how to achieve this is with proper standardized wizard platform, is to guide them properly on the step-by-step basis to ensure the system is completed and commissioned. So with our TX, combining TX, RX, and also power on a single cable solutions, so it's also a safe cost saving for customers, and you do not need to remove the system or remove the radome since we have dynamic motorized braking system to initialize the VSAT. And I like the words where John mentioned earlier, plug and play. All right, so VSAT is spaghetti. What I mean spaghetti, there's a lot of ingredients. There's a lot of you have sauce, you have capsicum, you have the it's too complicated to make a dish, you see. So what we are heading towards is simplicity, to simplify system, to make sure it always to reduce the time and reduce the cost for installations. That is the main objective. All right. The fourth point that I want to mention is our software, is our aptus software, enhanced aptus software. What is this? A software that able to remote access, automatic remote access, and also diagnostic, to allow, as Cheng Yu mentioned, digitalization. This is critically important, source of communications on VSAT is VSAT, what I meant. So we need integrations between, engine monitoring, CCTV. So our system has enabled the path for service providers, to optimize the VSAT connectivity. All right. Lastly is the total cost of ownership. So this is important, is to reduce the spare stock for service partners. So we have common, for example, motor that goes elevation, cross level, and azimuth. One single motor can be used in these three axes. And most importantly, as I said again, working on a single platform. So next slide, I will share with you on a single platform. What is actually NX and meet the NX family? So we have various from 85 centimeter up to 100 centimeter. These are the choice and option for customers depending on the requirement, especially when a limited size, limited space, or in a Monkey Island, you probably will need to have 85 centimeter. But if you have, offshore vessels, you have space, you need higher bandwidth. So you have option to go on 150 NX. And as I say again, this is a future-proof terminal, working on single platform, easy to install, plug and play, you name it. These are the system that you need today. The NX system, a choice for customers to have. You make the right choice for the future connectivity. So on the next slide, I will share with you, in some cases where customers have dual antenna solutions. All right. So why do a customer need to have dual antenna solutions? One reason is to avoid blockage. These are not, satellite industry or, is unavoided, have single terminal. You need to have a second terminals for you to have, increase in your SLAs. Right, so we have developed effortless setup for customers, with no additional box and cables. In some cases, where other brands we have additional splitters, where this is a cost for our customers, and we embedded with our mediator, to allow seamless switching from a primary communication and a secondary communications. And further to that, with this setup, is a future-proof setup for MEO and LEO constellations. Right? On the next slides, I will touch on the next slide. I will touch on fast delivery deployment. All right. So point 3 I mentioned earlier, simplified installation. You can have all the features, future-proof, simplified installation, aptus software, integrations, cost saving. But most importantly, do we understand how can we speed up the installation on board? We have mitigated and addressed all the problems, for the crew to actually execute the installation quickly. So we provide the lifting stripe for all our NX series. You do not need to, purchase additional stripe for the installations, and also shackle, so easier deployment from, to bring up the antenna up to the Monkey Island. Looking into this, we go deeper and understand. As a manufacturer itself, we anticipate problems and address it. We have tested our system with truck shipping tests, air freight shipping tests to ensure our terminal is always ready when installed. All right. On the next slide, I would share with you the importance of aptus software. APSCC overview. All right. Aptus in Latin is to connect and attach. It's important you have a good physical terminal, but you need a tools to control and maneuver. So there are 2 types of elements for aptus software. Afternx software, 2 installations elements are the easier installations and commissioning, which is enable the crew or the officers on board step-by-step guides for them to complete the commissioning. Secondly is the strong remote access, to enable the service providers not to access or to access the system, to anticipate the behavior of the VSAT. So these are the 2 important things that complements the full life cycle of VSAT. Right? The key attributes or the key points for Afternx are accuracy in diagnostic. This is very important. And as I mentioned again, I'd like to emphasize we develop a software to make it easier and also to perform auto cable calibrations and compensations. A lot of cases where engineers make mistake, they perform poor terminations on the connectors. So what we'll do in aptus software is to perform that calibrations and ensure to go to the next stage of parameters is done correctly. Being an engineer myself, I did make mistake. We try to rectify why is the RF path having a problem, without me thinking is that, my termination is the cause of the problem. With aptus software or Afternx, it resolves that problem. It's just a simple click, you're able to perform your installations. And also, if you have engineers who require detailed troubleshooting, we have embedded spectrum analyzer in our system. All right. So in a nutshell itself, is tools that make it simpler for customer to troubleshoot, remote access, and also to perform the health check of the system. Right? So on the next slide, I will touch a little bit more on installation guide. So emphasizing on easy installations, proper guidelines, steps. This is important, guys, because with our simplified dashboard, it provides steps for customers, to ensure which parameters that we should put in the option file, the GPS string. You do have a GPS feed string coming into the VSAT. Blockage with the VSAT, they will identify where's the blockage zone of the system on board the vessel. So, being a experienced engineers, we have looked into it. But imagine that you have officers and crew have no nuts of installations. This will be the problems because they just only wanted to plug and play and assume that everything works. But our system, our aptus software, provide that guideline for them, right? In all cases, when it all completed, all the commissioning and also the proper steps, the system will create a report. This report is so important for the service providers for reference, for individual vessels reference, to ensure, each vessel has their own, steps and correct steps. And, if assuming there's a system offline, system offline not only caused by the terminal, it can be caused by line of sight, it can be caused by the network, it can be caused a lot of factors that we should look into it. But these are the one factors that we can, identify whether the installation or the height of the antenna is really installed at the right place. So the key point is that aptus software is the tools to provide simplified installations, to provide integrations in IoT, as Cheng Yu mentioned earlier. These are the key points of having aptus software. So next slides. Okay, to as I mentioned earlier, physically you have a fantastic terminal, you have fantastic software, but it's very important we have to provide operation excellence. In this maritime industry, fast-paced industry, we need to understand. A lot of our competitors out there mention, we have a simplified system and so forth. But knowing the lead time, to reduce the lead time, knowing the complexity of delivering a system on board is the key. We have the ingredients, guys. We have the right team members. We work with specialist delivery forwarders. We are in presence globally, 5 global logistic presence, for fast drop shipment. And also in this type, in all the 5 presence offices, logistics centers, we also have spares parts available, which is also important for the service partners to ensure that all the parts is ready for them to perform their services. All right. So the next slide. All right. We've all been said about the fantastic about our physical terminal, our Afternx, our excellence operations. But most important thing is the journey to support the customer, the after sales. Customers always emphasize me, if you install this, what will happen next? I will rest assured we have dedicated team, in 3 distribution hub continents. We have, we work with 50 plus service partners and our team members. We have our own engineers. We have team members with multi-language, can able to communicate with the crew and officers, even though English is it's a standard communications. But we do have a crew which is Chinese spoken. We have Korean, we have Dutch, and also we have Tagalog. So communication is the key to address the problems, where we are today. And, we beyond going just a hardware manufacturer. We understand the full cycle of how to deliver, from a delivery, execution, and completion. These are the most important things. Being a manufacturer and understand the maritime industry is the key to success. So the next slide, I will putting on my experience based on my 10 years experience, integrations. Okay, basically this is simple connections between from the satellite down to the VSAT itself. You can have dual antenna solutions, as I mentioned earlier. You can have a backup solution with L-band. with free broadband or even Certus, you have the options. But what is the idea that I'm going to share with you? Choosing a right terminal is crucial. A terminal that provide future proof, a terminal that ensure your crew can perform the troubleshooting, ensure the crew can able to install, time to market, So these are important. The choice of putting a right investment in terms of terminal is key. Right? So with all these values of having VSAT, three main important points. They have a lot of points and benefits of having VSAT. The 3 points that I'm going to address is very critical. It's always online. What I mean is always online. It enable ship owners to communicate to the vessel at all times. In some cases where we need to change the route, we need to direct the vessel to another port, so we can't have the break communication. We need to get in touch with the vessel and ensure the vessel operation is and also the objective is met. And also, as I mentioned, Cheng Yu always emphasized in IoT and digitalization is key, because this is the missing link. You need to have a VSAT to enable to work with all digitalization. Without VSAT, it's nothing. You can't have integrations. You can't have a monitoring system. You can have CCTV. All these are the missing link. That's why reliable terminals and high performance terminal is the key to success. And secondly, this is from my bottom of my heart, to provide internet to the crew. They have been sacrificed, extending their contract, providing the crew to communicate with their family and connect with their family. Update about the latest pandemic news back in their homeland. And obviously, we are talking about digitalization. We are talking about drone vessel. We are talking about, AI. But people are the one who manage all this system on board vessel. We need good people. We need good crew, trustworthy crew. A good internet will give a little bit of benefits for them to just, to look at their family, their loved ones. So it's very, very important. I personally say, invest in VSAT, providing to better connectivity for the crew. And lastly is the improvised operation efficiency. The 4 main points: reduce spares, cost, you can anticipate what type of spares or to be replaced, remote access for the specialists to guide the technician and engineers what to do, despite needed to send and specialists going on board, it can cost you a bomb, and also to optimize the performance of the system and reduce the insurance. What I mean reduce insurance, assuming you have a collisions, you need to, submit the report to the insurance party. Actually you anticipate, okay, the time of collisions, what actually happened. Actually, you have all these videos and videos and reports, so you can able to share it across and reduce that insurance cost. And last, most importantly, I understand operating a vessel is more than just a communication. Communication actually is a 1% of operations. All right, to have a good VSAT connectivity or connections actually will address all these points. So, like I mentioned, choosing a right terminal for the future connectivity. So if I would like to on the next slide, which is the last slide, I would like to extend my appreciations for giving me the time to share some updates and the benefits of having our Afternx. And please feel free to contact our sales representative at sales@intellia.com. And I'm more than happy. If you have any doubt, please contact me, fazil.osman@intellia.com. With that said, I will leave the floor to Mr. Cheng Yu and John for the panelist discussion. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Fazil, for your most passionate presentation, and also with a go through on our product features, what we can do with our products for the maritime industry. So in the next 5 to 10 minutes, we would like to invite everyone in the audience to the floor for have some open discussions as a panel exchange. And I think also from what we just observed during the past 12 months, and I think observing where the industry is going, there are 3 key elements that we observed. They can, be a very trendy service requirements in our industry and the requirement for the hardware manufacturer like Intellia. First of all, as John and I earlier, we mentioned before, that pandemic situation, it really obligates the service operators and I think also the shipping managers to provide the uninterrupted data connectivities from vessel to vessel, vessel to shore, to ensure the total reliability of the data. Based on the simplified solution platform with unlimited access, remote access of the different stage of the solution, that remote accessibility with the open API, with the segregation of the traffic management and operation civilians, it becomes primordial to ensure the maritime safety as well as the business continuity. That's one of the trends. The other trend, as we can see, today's world, with the surge of IoT, everyone is moving to a multi-constellation from GEO to LEO and MEO. So both service operators and also end user will require a future-proof, ubiquitous application platform and network infrastructure to migrate what they already invested in, provide a continuity, provide installed values onto the next stage of the LEO, MEO constellation agnostic environment to provide the technology disruptions. So this is also offers both Intellia and I think also the whole industry to work together to ensure both continuity, but I think also the hockey stick right towards what is required on IoT solutions in the smart shipping environment. Third, which is the last point, but not least the point I wanted to also share the observation. It is very interesting to see how fast the traditional telco industry, IoT industry, and also our SATCOM, especially for maritime SATCOM industry, are fast converging together. That convergence is pushed by the surge of the data transactions from data acquisition, data storage, data transmission, data management, and also finally the data analytics to the different maritime ecosystem players. That leaves all open questions. Based on what we built, a solid foundation, what we can do better to customize your solutions, your excellence for the customer satisfaction. This is also a whole ecosystem and the value chain collaboration. We are ready. We wanted to work with you intimately and closely to provide a customized edge to your solutions and also your customer services. Having said that, I would invite my colleague, John, and also Fazil to share some insights. What we can do better to serve our customer, to make this maritime world a better place. John, you're on the floor.
Thanks. I mean, let's start with the checkpoints. Like I mentioned earlier, the demand for data, whether it be land-based or at sea, is insatiable. If I look back at some of the events I used to attend or discussions with the consultants, I think we've really underestimated how much data people want. And in fact, as a checkpoint, as an industry, a global industry, I think we used about 1 zettabyte of data across the internet everywhere, from birth to 18 or 19 years later. And going forward, we're going to be using a zettabyte a month, right? So you can see that data demand is going up. And that's a good thing because, data is key, right? If we have lots and lots of data, we can do lots with it. And I think that really serves many aspects of our personal business lives. I think that again, looking, coming from a maritime background, I think the connected ship is different. You mean VSAT terminals and other forms of communication were there for communication, for making phone calls and a little bit of data, but they're to connect the vessel and to give lots and lots of really good data back to shore that can be analyzed. As an example, I was at a venue in Rotterdam pre-COVID, and Greenpeace were there. And they've become very, very interested because the data collection alone from all these vessels can be, one stream isn't enough. When you collect it all together, you can put it into, add some extreme processing power, and you can start to look at fuel efficiencies and emissions and be greener. Like Fadzil said earlier, I think the biggest expense for a ship owner is the fuel. So if you can look at ways to have cost optimization or fuel cost savings, that's fantastic from a cost perspective and also from a green perspective. So, and this is what this massive data allows us to do. I think the average ship has about 30,000. I mean, the big cruise ships and big cargo carriers have about 30,000 data points. And historically, that would be captured in a batch format and eventually would make its way shoreside. And so the data became invalid. They couldn't really use it. But now the vessels are connected. So that data can be used in terms of maintenance, operational efficiency. So from a business perspective, the ship owner really gets a lot of advantages in terms of safety and fuel savings, etc. Then, of course, we can't ignore, global mental health crises is an issue as well. I think
Indeed.
COVID has taught us all that's something we really need to be careful of.
Yeah.
And if you're on board and you're connected to the world and you can use your applications as a crew member, your WhatsApp and your Instagram and your Facebook, that goes a long way. That goes a long way. So I think definitely you put all these together and showing the positives from an enterprise perspective and of course a crew welfare perspective, that you can't ignore that. I think that is a real positive factor, and that will make people's lives better operationally and of course from a mental health perspective. So we can't get away from it. But of course, as the data demand is going up, the problem is that it's starting to bottleneck a little bit. So getting data from A to B is becoming an issue. And hence that's why these new amazing networks are being created. And of course, the existing networks are being bolstered. And so that, we can't say Geo and NGSO. I think they're both going to complement each other. But the point is that they are becoming really effective. And so getting this data from A to B is becoming a far simpler path. But we're right in the middle of it. As an antenna manufacturer, if the antenna goes down, then you lose it all. So our part of in the equation is it has to be as simple as possible. We want the ship owner not to worry about it. Just go about his business and make sure that the product that he has can be used today. And it's an asset they're going to buy for 10 years, can be used tomorrow, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Historically, in the past, I don't think that was really a big consideration because it was one network type and that was it. Very different now. And I think the ship owner, is very aware of this. And we have to give the ship owner the assurance that we've got you covered. You buy a product. We've thought about this. It's our job to think about it, right? So we've got them covered in terms of providing a product they can use today. And if they need their operation or they need more data or they need low latency, or whatever it may be, they can hop onto a different network and not worry about it as far as we're concerned. That's really important. So,
John,
yeah,
I just wanted to quickly echo just what you just said. This is really, I mean, you're hitting the nail into the head. This is so critical in this world where everyone embracing the disruptions and also, technology advancement, but how to ensure the previous investment and, migrating from the current technology into the future kind of diverse technology is also very important to ensure the customers' investments, OPEX, total cost of ownership, is honored when we move from point A to the point B. And I think we are really in the sweet spot to provide that smooth and seamless transition into the future-proof GEO, LEO, MEO, multi-constellation environment with the continuity of our products and technology with the NX and our Aptus platform. John,
yeah, I mean, I think just keep it simple. There's lots of technology, lots of investment, etc., and I think it can just literally blow the ship owner's mind. I feel really sympathetic. So let's keep it simple. Why do we need all this data, and how is it going to be useful, and how do we get it from A to B, and how do we get it from A to B in a very, very reliable fashion? The data connections. So I think that the demand for data is going up, but I think the critical nature of not having the data has become more of a concern too. Maybe 4 years ago, it was a pain. It was a bit of a pain in the neck if your VSAT terminal went down. I think now it's mission critical because everything's online. So you're kind of literally dead in the water. So our second function is not only to give the future proofness, but it's also to make sure these terminals are so reliable. I could read stats all day long. We looked at this in some detail. It was really, really important. Again, we're a compassionate bunch of folk. My boss, who's the CEO of the company, and your boss too, Chengyu, to be fair, he's a true visionary. I mean, he's an exceptional man, but he's motivated by what can we do better. And so we looked at when we designed NX, we said, okay, let's really take some of those pain points out. And I think with our previous product range, we took a lot of pain points out. We revolutionized this industry from many, many aspects. But NX, our approach is absolutely so robust. And we see that, of course. We've been shipping thousands of the units, and it's incredibly robust. And it can glide with you. So you can integrate it with your own network through an API level. Like we said, all the way across this little seminar, that one of the most profound things we've seen is you can't get on board, and in fact, I think that's going to last. And so we need this to be such a plug and play product from the initial installation. But nobody needs a product to fail in the middle of the Atlantic. I mean, it's again so mission critical. So the artificial intelligence, the precognitive aspects of NX are really going to play a big part going forward, I think. So if there's something going to go bad, even though the reliability of all the terminal manufacturers has gone up significantly, right? But I think one of the parts that we play, a real strong edge that we have too, is that if something's going to go bad, it will alert you well in advance. It's not going to just die in the middle of the Atlantic or Pacific. That's unacceptable now. So we'll put a huge amount of effort into that precog stuff. And so if something's going to go wrong, it will notify you, 3 or 4 weeks, even 5, 6 weeks in advance. So you can get to it and say, all right, I'm going to make sure that the health of that product. So I think that, what does that mean? It means that the ship owner can relax a little bit. They've got enough to deal with other things, So we've got to take care of our part of the business. And I think, personally, I think we do. I think more so than ever before. I think if you kind of wrap that up with some of the information you guys provided in terms of our global logistics, getting stuff from A to B is also really important as well. And we're good at that. We decided a long time ago, again, to take the pain away in terms of product lead times and getting it, if you're in off the coastal waters of the US, you don't want to be shipping a product, other side of the world. So we take care of that too. So we're not perfect by any means, but we do try. And I think we've come a long way to take a lot of the pain for the ship owner, in my opinion.
Very well said, John. Thank you for your passionate sharing. Fazil, any comments?
I think I echo what John had mentioned. I think it's critical today to have quick delivery, simplify installations, to provide the internet access for everybody. Those days when we look into only commercial vessel or energy vessels, but look into fishery vessels today. They require connectivity for e-commerce, for them to actually market their products while at sea. So this is so critical to have a strong terminal, that able to work within any adverse weather. So we look into that issues. We understand the sizes of terminals. We have wide range of terminals to provide different sector. So I think this is from my bottom of my heart. I think we, as John said, we are not perfect, but what is our value? Our value is to provide we develop new technologies, we develop new infrastructure just to provide the true value for customers like you. I think that's the key.
Thank you both. Due to the time constraints, we have to wrap up this panel discussions, and I'm highly looking forward to the questions, and hopefully we can answer the questions through our geographic kind of a global presence with John in Europe, Fazil and myself in Asia. Due to the time constraints, and we cannot invite our US kind of a team together with us. But as a global company, what I would like you, dear partners, and also customers to take away with this brief session is Intellia is evolving and also trusted, reliable partners that can provide you not only to technology today, but also accompany you in this fantastic journey that we both committed in the digital transformation for the smart shipping with our scalable, reliable, simplified technology platform. And most importantly, we're passionate about helping you and about to providing you the leading edge for your excellence in this industry. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time, and also looking forward to collaborate to you in a very intimate and a close fashion. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you, Fadzil. Thank you very much, Mr. Cheng. Really enjoyed that presentation on hybrid satellite coexistence from Intellia. So thank you to all of our speakers today, from Contact, from Intellia, from Nara Space, and thank you very much to the RRA for your support and ongoing support of APSCC, as well as this innovation showcase. Please do join us for the next in our APSCC webinar series. If you want to find out more, you can just go to apsccsat.com. You'll see the upcoming schedule of events. If you want to see any of the previous webinars in this show, or in this not just showcase, but in this series, you can also find them on that apsccsat.com. For that matter, you can watch the ones from last year as well. We do have a program for the remainder of 2021. We're looking forward to seeing you joining us very soon. Every Tuesday morning, actually, at 10 o'clock Hong Kong and Singapore time, we'll be rolling out another episode of that. And we look forward to joining us soon.